Good morning, Scott here, known as Cantaloupe to some online, and I'm bringing a subject to you that's interesting to me. It might be of interest to you or someone you know, and that is the new phenomenon, relatively new in human history, of cameras and remote viewing capabilities, especially with emphasis on marketability and the commercial aspects of it. Sounds like a big subject, but it's actually pretty simple. I'm talking about how there's a new way for people to tune in to things that are not nearby, not local, not happening immediately in their vicinity. And it has implications. It has very serious implications. The ability to participate without being somewhere, in a manner of speaking, to be there without being there, to be involved and to gain something from it, if not just in terms of information, in terms of experience and knowledge without the risk. This is a big deal. This is a really big deal. And I've mentioned in other videos the role of consequences, how there's good and bad consequences. And when you work hard, for example, and you earn something, that belongs to you because you made those decisions and you worked hard for it, right? So if somebody can gain that feeling, gain the hard-won experience and knowledge just from some kind of camera or remote viewing system, then they are taking something that they didn't rightly earn, or they don't deserve. They don't necessarily even have the wherewithal to handle. Sometimes it could be actually dangerous for certain people to know certain things without having completed the steps to get there, if that makes sense. And I'd have to think about an example of that. But you can imagine some kind of obstacle course or a set of challenges that has to be overcome logically before you get to a gem of wisdom at the end of it, so that you have proven, and this happens all the time, so that you have proven your capacity to understand and be responsible with the information. But somebody who may be tagging along via a GoPro or whatever doesn't necessarily have that um, qualification. Never mind, living vicariously through people. This is the other hazard. I think it's there's a strong current of parasitism going around right now. Excuse me, where people are choosing much less often to leave their own house, for example. And it's pretty well known right now that a lot of people suffer from agoraphobia and a host of dysfunctions, psychological troubles, and mental illnesses that surround being afraid of other people, of socialization, and even sometimes a crippling disability where they cannot even leave their house. That's agoraphobia sometimes. And it's because, I think, largely in part to how easy it is to get the things we need without leaving. This didn't used to be possible a long time ago. Not even a long time ago, just as recently as the last century. To get something, anything, there was almost no chance of getting groceries delivered before that became a feature, and that's relatively recent. That wasn't around when I was growing up. And if we needed something to eat, we had to actually go and get it, unless you're a farmer, right? But um, things have changed, and my concern. I'm going to wrap up the video. Things have changed, and not only do people fail to consider all of the ramifications and the secondary effects and consequences of new technologies and new ways of life, they aren't even able to. They shouldn't be required to think about that stuff. I mean, it's not enough to just say, well, people should think harder about it before they sell it or buy it. It's not even possible for most people, if anybody, to really foresee all of the eventualities, all of the consequences of a new technology, for example, or a new widespread behavior or trend, social trend. It, it, I think that it's simple. It should be simple, and it is. If there's an easy way to do something, such as remotely or wirelessly, perhaps it's too easy. Perhaps it seems too easy for a reason. Perhaps convenience has a trade off every time, perhaps safety and convenience are wildly toxic when they are out of proportion, when they are the default, such that nobody has to leave their comfort zone anymore. For example, such that nobody has to actually journey anywhere outside of their house anymore. Some of us. Well, I'm not saying that we all should, but there are bad effects. So anyway, that's a lot to say about it. I think there's a solution, and it is getting back to nature, getting back to the way that humans probably evolved. And I do believe that we evolved, and maybe we could get back to agreeing that there is a history that predates, whatever you have read necessarily. Some people are still confused about this. There's plenty of evidence. I mean, it's a big conversation. That would be a separate video. So maybe I'll make that one later. Have a great day. Reach out with questions or comments to whitehoutrobot@gmail.com. Thank you.